Thank you for your patience. Officially, good morning. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Market Watch Group. Sunday Market Insights. We had a little bit of a system update delay. No problem. We got through it without too many issues. Just the standard, a little bit of bitching and moaning on my part. That's MO though, right? I have to agree to some user agreements even today. What's going on? Thinkorswim? Good to have you in the room, Melody. Glad you can make it. We have an amazing group here today, as I would expect. It was light on Friday. Where was everybody Friday, by the way? Let's get the disclaimers. As always, education, illustrative purposes only. Not intended to be a recommendation to buy or sell any security or financial product. What we do is for information, educational purposes only. We're not brokers. We're not advisors. Today we will, A, market posture. Always. B, look at the economic calendar and see what's coming our way. C, identify what sectors may need to be searched based on improvement in sector rotation that we've been seeing, hopefully that we continue to see. D, any watch list maintenance, which means what? If we see something that we haven't traded and probably won't trade, get it off the list. There's no reason to keep it there. TMB, officially a Florida resident. Congratulations, Kareen. I hope the moving is stressful. That's very stressful. Or have you been there a while and now you just finally are getting that driver's license? February. Oh, moving. We actually spent the weekend cleaning out our garage and we got to the shelves. Now we're waiting for a dumpster to come because it's like, oh my God, did we turn into hoarders? Let's get rid of some stuff here, man. Basement too. Good Lord. We've been in our house for 19 years now. It's like I blink and I'm like, wait, what? 4. Amazing. All right. Let's get to it. Yeah, let's allow access to Chrome. I don't know. Okay, let's talk about it. Melody has questions. I have answers. They may not be good ones, but they're answers. Vladimir's here. Good to see you. I don't have documents up. Let me get my documents. Sorry, that was one thing I did not get. Thinkorswim made everybody do some new agreements. That makes sense. Let's see. What do we need here? I need where's my docs? Docs. Let's get a trading plan outline and a market posture log. TOS must have had a big update yesterday. When I worked at TOS, you may or may not have known that I did work at TOS. I worked for the Thinkorswim group for a couple of years. When your system I'm going to close this, but I want to see them later. How do I do that? Yes, I want to view this later. When it would update, it because literally features would come out weekly, sometimes even daily. Like it's never had the attention it's deserved since then. Slow, Tony Z said. Anyways, all right, let's get to it. Now that I have the last of my... Can't believe it's halfway through the year. That's insane, right? Okay. Let's posture. We have everything we need. We're a few minutes behind, so I'll try to yap less and process faster. Good luck with that. I'm giving it it got up to the red line. That was the mark I needed. Here I said it's not enough. It may pause first. But look, we got back to the underside of that line. Give it a quarter of a point. Who's with me? Bam. Just like that. We start with a pause. Also, can I stop for a second? And I'm just gonna throw a shout out to my guy, Stephen D. He said confidently it's going to be a bullish week. And we give him credit due. Yes, well done, sir. I hope it helped you trade better. Okay. Yes, quarter of a point. And if we break, you gave it a half a point increase. It's funny, Kareen, that you said that. It's never too much. And I would say stick with your gut no matter what. Because right now I'm like, God, I almost feel like I could give it a half, right? So there you go. That was literally the comment I was about to make. So yeah, leave it there. Because I feel like if I don't, I'm going to give it soon. And that might just mean you're there sooner. Yeah. So if we were to, one of the things we've done recently, I might get there. Give me a minute. Give me a minute, you guys. Because we're back here, right? Like if we kind of say that we like where this, I can't draw a line to save my life, but we'll get there. Yeah, I kind of almost agree. Yes, let's do it. We were thinking it was going to consolidate and it sort of busted. I feel like a 1 is actually appropriate. What am I at? I think Kareen has convinced me that the half a point is what makes sense. It's tough. Let's acknowledge it's tough. I'm going to switch this to red. When you're processing things like this, but even in here, we sort of did this thing. And I feel like, yeah, you know what? There it is. Done. I love it. Is Sandy here? Sandy was the one who convinced me to first take, I can't remember if it was major market or sector rotation, to the hallowed 1 point score that 1-pointers don't usually get. Kareen is saying, take it to the 1, give it the half a point. And I agree. A 1. Who's there? Who's not? Is anybody higher than a 1? Steven likes it. Bob likes it. That's enough. We have a quorum. Indeed. Let's go. 1 it is. Oh my God. And Gray Lynn is here. I haven't seen Gray Lynn in a little bit, it seems, but it is magnificent to see you, by the way. Happy Sunday. Like my Sunday is complete. This Sunday can't go wrong now. I think we're raising this as well. What is that going to take us to? A 1.5? And just like that, we had another. Well, actually, no. Let me see. If we come and do this, okay, that's the angle. Knowing that as steep as it gets, maybe not even quite that steep. I'll go like this and then go the same way down. 1, I don't know. That actually looks kind of like more like a 1.25. Is that a 1.5? Oh, I don't know. Put it back up, Scott. Put your lines back up. Is it 45? Yeah, I feel like we're around 30. I'm going to give it a quarter. I'm going to give it the quarter because it got to a new high. We're going to give it a little extra. Okay? I'm feeling it. I'm going to let it go in there and give it that 1/4 point. We'll say 1.5. Wow, that's pretty strong, kicking us in there. I think volume's going to kick into a positive score here. It was a good week. 1, 2, 3, 4 strong days. One pause. Let's dial this back to 30. For the weekly, you're at 1.25. Got it. I think the consensus is a 1, but no problem being a little bit more bullish. Let it ooze in there. We need to let's activate this drawing and move it over because we have another one. I was going to see if Miguel was here, but I remember him telling me that he went to Las Vegas. So he's probably sleeping. Okay. And now what? Now we have these old ties. We have one sell back here. It's not in the week that's going to disappear. So it will actually be here next week when we're here. But it'll be this very, very, very last day. I still consider this somewhat stale. I think I'm gonna toss it out. I'm gonna go with just what we have here. This is the volume I'm gonna score. Is that a reasonable thing to do, or am I overly? Actually, you know what? Let's leave it. That's fine. Even there, we have 4, 4, and 1. If we threw it out, what we have down here is 3. 3 sellers, 4 buyers. Oh, no, we don't have a tie. I know. Sorry. 3, 4, no. No ties. So I either have a tie, which tie goes to the buyers. That's 0.25. Or I have a slight edge. Same thing, 0.25 either way. 0.25. That's my score. Easy enough. It's bullish. The score is bullish. We start here. We end here. And our line says... Ooh, oh, that was a pretty good line. I'll throw out the back 5 if I need to. I mean, the last week is stale. That's what I always say, right? The last week is stale. But we'll if it's got like, I mean, it has 2 ties, so that's really doesn't mean anything to us. If it had 2 sell days, I might give it 1 day to kind of. But yeah, I'm gonna let this one stay. Next week, this one moves over here, gone. And so if we get 1 more buy day, then we'll be 3, 5, and 0. And if we have a 5 buys to 3 sells, definitely that'll take it to a 0.5 point. So I think it's poised. If we, I think our number makes sense given the line. Okay. That was pretty efficient, actually, for starting late. We're now going to raise this up 1/4 point. So if you haven't noticed, the first half of our market posture analysis is price action. Price action in the form of trend and volume, right? So the price action score got quite a bump. We went from 175 to 275. It's pretty strong. Pretty good bump, that especially coming out of what we've come out of. Any questions, any concerns, any comments about the first half price action analysis? Are we all on the same page? Does anyone want to flag something where they're like, but what about X? Do I use the 50% line for volume? Let me go back. I use a, do you mean this line in here? That's a 20-day moving average. Interestingly, I've actually had a 50 before. And then I had them both for a while. Let me just show you what that looks like. Oh, good. I'm showing you now. So if you look where I am, I'm in the beaker, the scientific beaker, to do some science, I guess is what we're doing in here. Science. We're going to come in here. We're going to add selected, and that's going to pop it. But it's going to pop it over here to price. I don't want it on price. I can click on this and I can say, I want this measured on volume. Bam. I don't want 9. I want 50. And I don't want green because my other one's green. So let's make it pink. And then I'm going to say okay. And then I'm going to say okay. And now I have 2 lines on here. And you can see, what would this do? Actually, if you had the 50, it would eliminate some of these. And I'll tell you this. Just now as I'm looking at this, and I'm remembering 10 years back when I went through this the first time. I hadn't done this in a while. But we don't have that much to score. And there it is. Corrine just said it as I said it. She said it only clocked a couple bars. I want this. We want something to score, even if it's a little bit less. And quite honestly, we don't really have that tough of a bar to score it. People are like, we need 150% volume. What the hell are you talking about? 150% volume? You'll never get that. We need literally 5% above average. And we're like, there it is. That's above average. That's significant. 5%. That's the mark. And what does that do? That gives us data points that then we can score. And so to Corrine's point about not having enough bars, that's not helpful to us to be like, oh, we only get a bar. Yeah. And if you did 20% volume with a 50-day moving average, you literally would never score this thing. So there it is. That's why we do what we do. And Phil popped in and said, the market posture, what's the purpose? It dictates pretty much everything. Right now, I want you to look back over the last 2 months. It's a great question, by the way. Because what's happened to our posture? When we were down here, guys, remember when this thing was dropping? No one's like, oh, what's going to happen? Everyone's just like, oh, crap, what's happening here? Our risk contracted. First thing, very first connection to the posture is our risk management guidance, the rails. It's not going to say you should take, it's going to give you the rails so that you can be like, ooh, I got to tighten my risk. And we said, hey, look at this. We had 3 weeks where it was just sitting in this nasty spot. And then we got one bump. By the second bump, we're like, okay, let's maybe even the first bump. Quite honestly, we called the bottom, right? I mean, we called the bottom and we said, look, if it V's, it's now or not at all. I know some of you remember us when we were there. And we put on maybe 1 or 2 trades. No one's going to feel confident at the bottom of a V to be like, let's slap on 7 positions and see. At the end of the V, you're like, ooh, I wish I would have had more. But we did what we were supposed to do based on risk levels. Yeah. And then as our posture improves, we're like, let's take more risk. And then we bumped and we said, let's take more risk. And then what I want you to notice was this bump. This bump from here to here, from 0 to 2.5, that was significant to us because we said that's a breakout movement in our posture. And our risk opened up and allowed 3-4 extra trades. Would you be glad you put those 3 or 4 extra trades on back around May 18th? Fabulous question. Here's May 18th. We said market looks good. Now, of course, we don't just slap trades on because of the posture. This is just the guidelines. If we're at resistance, what do? Wait for a pullback? Bam, that was our next set of trades right here. Go back to the 27th. You'll see there was a next set of trades. We had to wait through some hiccups and then boom, it moves. And then it pulls back and we get a news, right? And that's what we're looking for. So it's going to help us understand where to trade because our market posture takes us to sector rotation. So we say, oh, these are the sectors where we really want to focus because they're the leaders. It's going to help us understand what strategies to trade because we look at the VIX and we understand where's the volatility. If it's low and it's cheap, hell yes, we buy options. We love to trade. We've done phenomenally well trading momentum options. We wouldn't do phenomenally well if the options weren't cheap. If the options were expensive, it's a different market and you would see us do spread trades, right? We would put different types of trades out that make sense for those conditions. So yeah, like it just sort of orients us to say, hey, we rely on it during the week. Remember, at the end of the week, we're saying, hey, what is our posture going to likely do? Because that will help me to say, you know what? If my posture is likely to improve, which it is, I'm going to hold on to trades. Take some, keep some, right? Where we say, hey, let's keep some positions open so these things can keep going. It informs us during the week. We check in to say, hey, are things holding up? Or do we need to reassess a little bit? So to me, it is like, I can't trade without charts. I can't trade without an option pricing model, and I prefer the Thinkorswim. And I cannot trade without my market posture. Those 3 elements, those are must-haves. Everything else we could take or leave, quite honestly. I need charts. I used to tell people all I need is a chart and a chair. But I actually need an option pricing model, and I just need a fully fleshed out market posture as well. Phenomenal question. I hope that helps, and I hope that connects maybe a few dots. Let's dive back in to... So those are the things that as you go through this that you should be thinking about is now what? Posture's improving. Still. In fact, it's breaking out of this. We were at 2.5 for a little while. A couple weeks there, then popped into the 3, sat there for about a month. The posture sat steady for a month. And yet what happened? We had a number of bullish trades. All working out. PLTR, you bastard. Philip Morris, you too. I see you too. I remember. I don't forget. Okay. Now what? Let's go to major market. So first 3 are price action. This is investor sentiment. And what are the what are the institutions up to? This is trader sentiment. What are the traders thinking? This is conviction. How strong is the conviction of these movements that we're seeing? Now what? Now we're on to appetite for risk. Appetite for risk. Does this market of ours have a good appetite for risk? Well, let's go take a look and see. And remember, all of these links are there for you anytime you want to grab them. But let's start here. Who's on top? As we would expect, the NASDAQ. Who's second? As we would expect, giving us the watermark, the S&P. Who's third? And this is a little bit of what we're dealing with right now. Is this battle for third between the NASDAQ and the Dow? On this chart, the Dow is in third, and the Russell. Sorry, I keep saying NASDAQ. I meant the Dow and the Russell. The Dow is in third, and the Russell is lagging. It's pulling up behind. We don't know if it's going to stay that way, That's just where it is now. Now we come down here, double click, type 133, hit enter. What have we done? We reset the starting point. It doesn't change much because the 133 and the 200 are both come from the drop to the bottom, back to the top. Although, interestingly, it actually changes quite a bit because here the S&P is actually at the top with the NASDAQ. People always ask, what does that mean? Is that bad? No, it just is. It's an anomaly. You don't typically see it. It's harder. It doesn't change anything in our implications. You can see the Dow's right up there, and then here is the Russell still lagging. What I have here is a 0.5 score. When the NASDAQ leads, it can get us to a 0.5. In order to get to a 0.75 and then to the hallowed 1, that's the highest it can get, you have to have more evidence of strength and leadership from the small caps. And for it to get a 1, the small caps have to be leading with the NASDAQ across multiple time frames. That's the only way we'll get there. For us to get to a 0.75, we have to start seeing it lead on at least a couple of time frames. And until then, 0.5 is as good as it's going to get, which is exactly where we are right now. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I don't care about copper stocks. Let's go down. Now we go to the scoring period. 66 is where I score. Let's make sure we're all the way over. And here you can see for the first time, the Russell has moved into a third position ahead of the Dow. And people are like, oh, does that mean we score it because it just moved into, that's not a leadership position. Actually, I like if it's a full bull, yes. If it's a full bull, a 1 score, you will have small caps ahead, yes. And the Dow will lag, 100%, Kareem. Great restatement. Right now in third, it's moved into like a, hey, at least it has more momentum than the Dow, but it hasn't even crossed the S&P one time. So what are we thinking about this? Yeah, status quo, staying at a 0.5. But let's go take a peek to see what else is coming down the pike. And here, that's the first time we see the bullish leadership composition. NASDAQ on top. NASDAQ on top, followed by Russell second. That's what we're looking for. Boom. Right? It's just, it can't be from the 22. It's got to get to the 66, and then we can mark it. And I'm going to make it get like a couple of weeks. And then I'll be like, maybe on the second or the third week, I'll be like, okay, now. So we're a little ways away, in my opinion, but maybe. I certainly didn't expect the jump that we saw today, which means, as much as we get comfortable thinking we are predicting what our posture is going to be, a lot of people are like, oh, you just are, why do we even need to go through it? It's because you never really know. There's so many times where I think I have a sense of what it's going to do. And then I'm like, oh, wow, that's surprising. I think you're probably onto something, Press, although I'm still in the February. We'll talk about the Fed here in just a second. Let's keep going. So this is going to stay as is, but here's the thing that I like to do. And this helps me trade as well, right? This isn't a score. But if we looked at the probability of this either going higher or lower, I think we would all agree 75-25, in my opinion, so 3-1 odds that it's more likely to go up than down. And that's helpful. That's like, hey, we have that strength fundamentally underlying our market. Great. Let's do sectors. Same thing. Same analysis on the sectors. We're at a 0.5. The sectors were just lagging for so long. And now we're starting to maybe see this coming in. So, God, you guys we're like right near a 5. I'm so excited. I don't think we'll get there today, but next week? Soon? We broke out of the threes. That's phenomenal. Okay, let me go back to. Let's get back to it. Who's on top? Comm services way up there, looking strong. Technology smashed its way back up to the top. Stop jumping around on me. Financials right there. Discretionary, industrials, the big five. Those are the big five growth sectors. Those are the growth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all up there. And now that's a great point. If you didn't see Stephen D's, he said we're gonna get close. Don't let me go pop into Alcoa. That's my earnings season checker. As I've said before, financial stocks have moved to that front of the line for earnings windows, but I still like to go to the old Dow AA. That tends to kick things off for us. Okay. And where's everybody else? We got healthcare down here, materials down here, staples down here, energy, utilities, right? Let's go to 133. Now, on 133, utilities, it stuck around pretty well. It didn't dip much on the dip, and it came back pretty strong. So utilities is there now, but there's industrials, there's financials, there's technology, there's communication services. Who's missing? Discretionary. So we went from 5 growth, 0 anything else, to 4 growth, 1 defensive, and our discretionary had fallen down. Not as good, but still overall fairly strong. Let's get to 66 where we're going to score this thing. And what do we see? Number 1, technology. Number 2, industrials. Number 3, communication services. Utilities is still there, but it's been pretty flat since the middle of May. While other things have started growing, that one not so much. And we have discretionary there, moving into position. This is the market. So we only have 3 above it, and the 3 above it are growth. And then we also have a couple near it. So not enough to raise it to a 0.75. Not enough to a 0.75. Definitely leaning more towards that, but it's not enough yet for me. And that's a great point, Press. This is a conversation we've had, I would say, off and on for the past year. A couple of times when we've seen some big surge from the utility sector. Is it AI data center and don't forget the vast amounts of crypto projects at any given time, which are highly energy intensive, right? Electricity consumers. So I agree. I think that there's a component of this that still has a bit of growth orientation to it. That's a great call out. Okay. Anyone make a change on their sector or major market? It's bullish. They're both more bullish than not. Remember, 0.5 out of 1 is not like, oh, we're almost bullish. 0 is neutral. 0 is neutral. Minus 0.5 is slightly bearish. So we're slightly bullish or convincingly bullish, not strongly bullish. What needs to come up still? We need to get more. That's a great question. Great question. So we need utilities, and the utilities could just sort of stay. I need these 2 to pop. I need, nope, not Staples. Staples is dropping. I need discretionary to get above and financials. These are just a little bit behind still on this scoring mechanism here. There's a good foundation for it, but yeah, I need to get a couple more of those guys up there. So give me one more, I'll take it to a 0.75. Give me both, I'll take it to a 1. Yep. Yeah, great question. Let's go 22 days. Above the S&P, Corinne. Above the S&P, which is red. You can always find the red on mine. I think everybody else's comes the same, but I never know for sure. Here you can see who's above. We have energy and technology above. Everything else was a little bit flat here. A little bit. So there you go. Not much insight from this. I feel good. I feel good about the score. These make sense to me. 0.5, 0.5. Let's finish on the VIX. I have a feeling the VIX is going to take us to a 1. And we're going to end up just under. Although, how crazy would it be if we ended up... Oh, let's just do this while we're here. July. 4-1. Against. There's just not enough time to get the data the Fed needs. That's kind of the consensus, I would have to say, right? We're 4 weeks away already? 4 weeks and change, 31 days. There's not a lot of expectations. Here's the question. Does anyone... Yeah. That's a good point, Press. We're starting to see some verbiage from some feds that are like, oh, maybe it's time. Maybe what will kick the maybe? A, the inflation comes down. B, the labor market shows a abrupt measure of weakness that they feel like, oh my gosh, we better do something. I am here if the data comes. Right? I think he'll still wait for the data. As long as we get some favorable data, we'll move here. Then I think we'll pause in October. Then we'll have one more in December, and we'll get the 2. Did you guys remember way back when UBS was like, they're going to lower rates 2.75. I'm like, you guys are, I don't know whose crack pipe you're smoking. 2.75. How does an enormous bank like that, who's their head economist? That guy should, or that lady, whoever it was, that guy should lose his job. That's madness to be that far wrong. That was insane. Like, where are you getting your data, buddy? I don't think any one of us here were like, I don't think that's even possible, man. Like, what? You'd be lucky to get 1 full point, and you're talking 2.5. Anyways, put the crack back down. Put it down. Yeah, there you go, Melody. The hope. Okay. Let's get back to it. Let's finish with the VIX, because I feel like the VIX has given us at least 1/4 of a point. Steven, did you give it 1/4 of a point? Oh, I don't know. Actually, this low was 16.23. And we got down to, we got 16.11, 16.12. I mean, it technically was a lower low. We had a funky island. Gapped into the island. Gapped back down off of the island. Actually, let me see one thing. I don't think we ever scored. We didn't. I'm not going to give it the lower low, even though, Bob, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It technically did, but I'm going to give it the lower high. We never scored this. If you remember back here, there was a trade put on with that coming down, But because it didn't take out the low and this thing kept going on up to here, I want you to notice we never scored the lower low. 0.75, 0.75, 0.75. We haven't scored since June 1st, which was back here when we scored this lower high. Yes, it is, press. 'Tis time indeed. Done. Bam. And that's how we finish. What a week. Stephen D ushers it in and says it's going to happen. And he was right. We got a beautiful, beautiful 1.25 jump this week on our posture. Loving it. Okay. Feeling good. Feeling groovy. Questions, comments, or concerns? Let me get a note card ready for the watch list. Let's do it. Let's do it. What day is today? 6/29. Okay. Now then. What are we going to be ready to trade? Not Apple. And in fact, Apple for me is still in its consolidation. Even if it pulled back some, I don't know, maybe a sneaky reversal. I just don't feel Apple's doing much of anything. AbbVie. Ooh. That's enough to kick it off the list for me. I didn't trade it. And I'll be honest, I was thinking about it right here. But I'm always a little hesitant on healthcare. That's just me. I'm not a big healthcare trader. It's kind of like gold where I've isolated my numbers in the past and I look at my healthcare trades and I'm like, dude, I don't know why you can't seem to make money on healthcare, but there you go, buddy. Anyways, yeah, you're gone. Amazon. Kudos to anyone who either pulled the trigger here or held on this one. Beauty. It's out of range now, though. So you're either in it or you're a spectator. APH. I think I can. It's got room to go, I think. I did take a piece, but kept more. Anybody else? Well done, Sandy. If I heard you were in an Amazon trade and someone said, do you think Sandy is still in that trade? I'd be like, hell yes, I think that. And you would too if you knew her. Who's in APH still? Got a piece. Let me know. Bank of America. I like financials. They look good. I will trade them again, but they look overextended. Yes? Gene still has a piece. Well done. But I will be looking for the pullback on these. Caterpillar looks strong, but there's no trade there. A little overextended. CLS. Okay. CLS. I had to do a little soul searching on CLS. I got to tell you. I didn't like what I found when I did the soul search, just so you know. Oh, goodness. CME. Anyone still in this one? This is kind of a grinder, but it's really struggling to get up out of this 274, 275 mark. Keep me posted there. COF, I know Miguel had some of this. This was a nice one. Pretty much whatever you did in financials, you made money on. Cisco, fabulous. Cisco was just a beautiful, perfect trade. Hit our first target, boom. Hit our second target, only by a penny. Oh, on this day by 7 pennies. You had 2 days to exit at the target of 69.15. If you're still in it, be careful because it seems to be rolling. Now what? I want the next one. So my thought is flag followed by a pullback box. Any of that's valid. It could pop out of the flag at any time. Is that a useful box? I've started drawing that. I used to talk about, look, when I first get out of a trade and it first starts consolidating, I'm going to think flag, especially if something's got a lot of momentum. So in the first 2 to 3 days, I'm thinking flag. And if it pops that flag, let's be ready. If it doesn't pop the flag, nothing's broken. It's just like, okay, now it's just a regular old pullback. So in here, we'd be thinking flag, and then it turned into the box. And where did the trade come? Out of the box, not the flag. Right? Does that make sense? Anyways. I got to... What am I writing down here? None of these have actually given much. Graylin, so good to see you. Have a wonderful Sunday. Diamonds. Overextended. EA. EA. I'm going to put EA on the list. What's it doing? Starting a flag. Cisco starting a flag. What will cause financials to scale back? Honestly, right now, just because interest rates go down a little bit, it's really, that's in a bullish environment. They have plenty of M&A. They have plenty in, there's plenty of business for them. Even if interest rates dial back a little bit, I wouldn't be worried about them. They'll be fine. They'll be just fine. I'm going to put BAC on the list. Not yet. I'll put COF on the list. I was like talking through these and I forgot to write any of them down. That's why I'm going back. Sorry, guys. Yes. Very smart, Stephen D. Love it. GE Vernova. Nothing there now. Gold. I'm a little iffy on gold. Google looked great, but it's already moved. You're late. You're chasing. I'll put Goldman on my list. A little flag will be fine. Hood. Flagging-ish already. Looks good. Howmet. Yeah, buddy. Come on. What did you guys think about that day? It was like going slow. Be honest. Did you think it was going to start to cross and do this as you got to Friday? I a little was like, come on, man. I don't want another one of those. And then, that was fat. That was spectacular. Gene thought it might do the same. Anyways, Howmet. How much further does it have? 190? It's going to get there. It's going to get there. Feeling good about that one. IBM. Put it on the list. That's a beautiful flag. That could pop anytime. IBM's got great momentum right now. Melody's in still on HWM. Love it. Fabulous. In IBM, well done. If somebody said, if you had to guess who might be in IBM, I'd have been like, I don't know, probably Sandy. I talked about this one, and then I got this right here. I didn't pull the trigger. I don't know. I just didn't. I don't know why. Sometimes if you ask, why didn't you? I would be like, I don't have an answer. I took my eye off the ball. I got distracted on the day it came. I was building a different trade. Anyways, thanks, Phil. It's good to see you. Indeed. Sandy's feeling it. Meta, beautiful. Put it on the list. Morgan Stanley. We're in it. We're just a little under the line. We'd like to see it go. We got half, or we got to the halfway point, and we got to the take profit point. Still going. Looking for more. Looking for more. Only in with one. Made profit. Love it. Love it. Still going to be on the list, obviously, though. So Morgan's on the list. I'm going to put Microsoft on the list. I just don't understand Microsoft. It's just like on this like grind, levitating from its 50-day. It just doesn't want to pull back, but it doesn't stop going up either. Very interesting. Micron, put it on the list. Little flag showing up. Very strong stock right now. Netflix. That was a great trade. I always struggle to put these out with alerts when they're expensive, but it's doing marvelously well. NVIDIA came out of nowhere. Let's put both of those still on our list, though. Netflix and NVIDIA looking strong. Need a pullback. I have to imagine a couple of you got a piece of NVIDIA. Oh, you dirty, dirty dog. Here's the hope. I mean, everything looked amazing on this. And then here's the hope. I hope your stop was somewhere through there. And at least by there. That's the hope. And if not, then there's going to be some lessons learned. Nobody loves lessons. And press. On Friday when we talked about it, pretty much everybody who had mentioned it was out already. Well in advance. So I feel pretty good about it. In fact, I'd say a few people stopped out before me and took smaller losses than me, which I love. I'm not like, oh, you did it before I did. I hope that's not how that came across. That's not at all what I meant. I mean, hey, you did a better job. Kudos. Anyways. So I felt pretty good as a group. But I also know if somebody didn't, they're going to be less likely to be like, oh, no, I'm still riding it. And so I get that. And if you're in it, and I just hope that there's like let's really make sure we learn. But I feel like what loss I took on that was not bad at all. And now we got to see what happens with this guy. But PM, okay, Gene. Kudos for putting it out, my friend. Lesson learned indeed. Oh, my most painful lessons are the worst ones. I've had so many bad lessons. And I'm a hard-headed guy. Sometimes I take way longer than I should to learn things. So I get it. PM. I don't know. I'm still gonna watch it because I want to take a trade on it. I'm not gonna call it a revenge trade because you know why. QQQ. Okay. Roblox looks fabulous. I'm putting Roblox on the list. It could be a trade at any time. At any time. This thing may consolidate for like this and then bam, it's gone. So be ready if you want to trade it. Rivian. I think everyone's finally bailed on this one. I'm throwing it off the list unless somebody is still got a piece. I'll keep it on. Once everybody's gone out, Corinne, once everybody's gone, it's off the island. Kick it out. Okay, nobody's in it. I'm out. You're off the list, Rivian. RTX. We built a trade for this. I might put it out on Monday morning, depending on if we look like we're gonna open. I'm gonna kind of put it like through like in here. Then based on the futures tomorrow, I'm thinking about that right there. Press. I wish you would have, because our posture supports that now. Not as much at the 3.5. Definitely now. Like if you ask me, hey Scott, are you feeling like you're gonna start taking some anticipatories where it's like if you see it hit support and it shows a little bump, you're gonna yes, yeah. I mean, Press, your instincts were to think about the preempt to so anyway, love it, man, love it. PLTR pullback upset my just the fact that there's as many of us in the group kind of in that thought process, like literally makes my heart burst at the seams. It swells with pride. It's the right thought. It's the right thought at the right time. So well done. Just thinking about it. And yes, let's give ourselves a little bit of wiggle room for those things. Not because we want to, but because the market posture, back to Phil's amazing question today about how do we connect that, provides that for us as guidelines. SPY. So let's make sure RTX is on the list, obviously. Tesla. Tesla looks like it could be a trade if it holds up right here and turns. I'm going to put it on the list. I don't know why I have a hard time trading it, but busted up, came down, got to here. If this holds, this is where we maybe make that run back up towards this 400 level. So yeah, I'll put it on the list. I know there's some Tesla traders out there. Okay. Love it. The chimp is in check. The chimp is trained. He's got a collar on. He's tethered. It's like, yeah, relax. I'll throw you a treat. Be good. Right? TSM, super strong. No trade, but still worth keeping an eye on. TSLL. TSL. I'm not going to throw it off my list. That's for sure. Steven. Okay. There you go. Very nice. Tesla double. Same setup. Looking for it to pop. Yep. Love it. Uber. Overextended, but possibly showing a flag on a cup and handle. I think that's worthy of trading. Absolutely. How's the bullish dollar doing? Pretty low. Visa, pretty low. Walmart, pretty sideways. Okay, that's the list. Last but not least. Karine heard it. I stopped it before it told me, but it gave me the beep. Karine knows. It's time to water the bonsai trees. Yeah, they definitely need it. Scroll down to section 8. Last stop on the loop, and then we're starting over. Improvement strategies, goals. I always would tell people I would work with, you get one outcome goal. If you want to be like, I want to make X% a year, great. Put that out there. Then what? Then we get back to work with goals that make us better. The cost trigger on alerts. Let me see. I'll pull that up. Let me pull up an alert real fast when we're done. Oh, perfect, Karine. Absolutely. And you can always, is that you can bring it tomorrow, you can bring it in the evening. We have an hour on Monday, and you could start with that, and we could spend a half an hour on that. Everyone else would benefit from it. So whenever you want to bring that, I'm ready to go. Process goals. Focus your attention on trading well and let the results take care of themselves. That's the thought process. So where do we find goals? Weaknesses from section 1, trading priorities from our analytics that we just got done getting better, right? So how do I cut my losses better? How do I let my winners run better? How can I improve my entries? How can I improve how I set my stops? How can I improve the way I tighten my stops and manage trades? Those are the things. Those are the goals. You do that and your results will get better. We can't just say, I want a goal to get better. How? How? So there it is. That's what we're looking for, to connect that. And then lastly, let me pull up an alert real fast. We'll bring up Howmet. Let's minimize this to the middle here. Approximate cost at trigger. So that is there's two things there. If it's already in its entry range, it's already quote unquote triggered. So basically that's the approximate cost of the option. So it's just basically the trade cost. And then the risk per contract would be, if I buy this for $370 and I stop out 10 to 12 days from now, actually it'd probably be half of that. Cut that in half. If I stop out at 168.75, if I stop out at 168.75 in 5 to 6 days, half of the time, I'm going to lose probably $235 of my $370. That's what it is. So it's just basically when I build that sample strike of the 180, when we're getting in as it's in that entry range, that's the approximate cost of the option between 174.25 and 175.25. If we didn't get into 176, we're not going to get 370. It's going to be 420 or 430, right? Something like that. And then it's trying to help you understand what's the risk per contract. That should help with position sizing. So, our year-to-date posture average is 2.05. Okay. Thank you, Bob, for giving us that. Very interesting. Melody, does that help with those last two? Hopefully so. And here we are, 10 minutes over, as always. But that's not bad. We started 5 minutes late. I feel pretty good about that. So thank you all for the extra time. Amazing to see everybody. Thanks for taking an hour, have coffee with me, talk about the market. I feel great going into this week. Let's see what happens. I will see you tomorrow morning in about 21 hours. Enjoy your time, as always. Happy trading.
Recording.